In this demonstration, we're going to look at creating an automatic deployment rule within System Center Configuration Manager for our software updates. What we've done is we've come into our System Center Configuration Manager console, we've come to our software library workspace, we've come to software updates, and we've come to automatic deployment rules. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're just going to right click and we're just going to create an automatic deployment rule. That'll then bring us into a wizard. And as with all wizards, we now need to just fill out some information. And what we've done here is we're going to call this required critical updates for Windows 10. I'm using a template called Patch Tuesday, and if I just click on Manage Templates to show you there's already some templates there. We could create our own though. So we'll select Cancel, and we're going to apply this to our collection All Windows 10 workstations. We will create a new software update group, and we will enable the deployment after this rule is run. So now that we've done all of that, we can select Next. On our deployment settings, we don't have Wake on LAN support, so we're fairly happy with, we don't need to turn on that tick box. We're happy with the detail level for any reports that we're going to run, and we will automatically deploy all the software updates found by this rule and approve any license agreements as well, and we'll select Next. That then brings us into our software updates. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to get rid of the property filter and search criteria. We're going to get rid of this date released or revised. We are going to go for product, and we are also as well just going to go for required. We'll scroll this down a little bit, and we'll ensure that update classification is also ticked as well. And just down here we'll just go for product, and all we're going to do for our product is we're just going to scroll this down. It should be down towards the bottom, but we're looking just here for Windows 10. So there we go, Windows 10, and we'll just select OK. Then what we've got is we've got required at this point here. So what we'll do at this point is we'll just turn on our little tick here. What we'll do is we'll just do greater than or equal to 1. We'll just add that in there, and we'll select OK. And then in the case of our update classification, currently got security updates, but what we'll do here is we'll just modify this to be critical updates, and we'll select OK again. We'll just select our preview button, and this shows us that we've got a couple of updates that we're going to add to this automatic update. So we'll select Close, and we'll select Next. That gives us our evaluation schedule. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to actually verify that we have this run the rule on the schedule. This will occur every 30 days. We're not happy with 30 days. Let's just customize that. Let's make that instead, let's make that 2 days. And we'll just select OK. Then what we'll do at this point here is we'll just select Next. And that brings us into our deployment schedule. So we'll ensure that the client local time for the time based on is selected. We'll go for as soon as possible for the deployment of the software updates. We'll also as well go for installation deadline. We'll just leave that as 7 days for the deadline. And we'll select Next again. User experience, we're happy with displaying in the software center and showing all notifications. So happy with all of the other settings. Again, we're not bothered about the deadline. We're not bothered about suppressing a restart. And we're not using Windows embedded devices, so we'll leave the default. In the case of our alerts, what we'll do here is we will generate an alert if this rule fails. Also as well, let's generate an alert when the following conditions are met. So we're happy with this as well, and we'll select Next. Download settings, we won't bother modifying any of the defaults at this point here. We don't have any slow links, so we'll select Next. That brings us into our deployment package. So what we want to do here is create a new deployment package, and we just need to fill out this little table. So what we're going to do here, we're going to call this auto deployment, specify the location as / loncfg $source, and then we'll go for auto update, and sending priority, I'm happy with medium, and we'll select Next. This then brings us to our distribution point, so we'll select Add. We'll add a distribution point, we'll add it to our loncfg machine, it's the only one we've got, and select OK. Then what we'll do is we'll select Next. That brings us into our download location. So what we'll do at this point here is we'll download software updates from a location on my network, and then we'll just specify the folder. And I'm going to specify / loncfg $software updates and select Next. That brings me to my language selection. We're happy with English, so we'll select next. That then brings us into our summary. We'll read through that quickly, select next, and then we'll allow the progress to go through. Read through all of the summary here, and then we're happy with all of this, so we can select close. And as we can see now, we have our automatic deployment rule, so let's just highlight it and let's just click run now. And then what we'll do here, it's just telling us we've initiated the action, we're happy with that, so we'll select OK. So the next thing to do at this point here is just go to our software update groups, and what we should find is we have our required critical updates for Windows 10, and we've got our critical updates here. Just point this out, in an earlier demo what we did is we deployed some updates to a Windows 10 box, so this is just proving that that device is now compliant. But all we've got here now is we have our required critical updates. Let's scroll this along here. And as we can see here, it was indeed created by, if we just scroll this along, the auto update rule engine. Then what we'll do here is we'll just come down to our deployment tab, and then our deployment tab, required critical updates. So as we can see here, yep, we've got that deployed. And all we'll do here is we'll scroll this back across a bit. We'll just right click on our required critical updates and we'll just show the members. And what this then shows us is the 2 updates in our little group. We'll just come back to our automatic deployment rules. What we'll then do is we will just highlight our rule. We'll right click on our rule. And what we'll do is we'll add a deployment. And this brings us into a little wizard. And on this deployment, all we're going to do is just going to browse through. And all we're going to do is we're just going to go for, in this case here, our London clients, and we'll select OK. We'll select next. That brings us into our deployment settings. So we're fairly happy with everything in our deployment settings, but let's just go for only success and error messages and select next. That brings us to our deployment schedule. So we'll go with local time. We'll make sure the software is available as soon as possible, and in case the installation deadline, again as soon as possible, and select next. Just on the user experience, so what we've got here is user visual experience, so user notifications, we're going to hide in Software Center and all notifications, so the user is going to see nothing, and select next. In the case of the alerts, we will generate an alert when client compliance is below 90%, so we're happy with that, and then we'll select next. That'll bring us to our download settings. So in our download settings, again, we don't actually have a slow site, so at this point here we'll leave all the defaults and select next. Quickly through the summary page, select next, then select close. And now what we've done is we've said we'll push these updates out to our London clients. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thank you.